There is a new major twist in the transfer priorities of Manchester United, with Casemiro expected to stay a little bit longer than we expected. Is it because of a lack of a buyer, or has Ineos chosen to keep one of the most experienced players at United? Meanwhile, the boss is having new guys who he's working with. One of them, an old-timer, is growing increasingly frustrated. My name is Webb. This is the United Hot Spot. Like, share, and subscribe as we do get into this update. And there is news that is coming in, guys, of frustrations in Manchester United. And the biggest one is in the assistant coach, that is the first team coach, that is Steve McLaren, who was left behind at Carrington to deal with the players who are arrived late, of course, from their holiday, who are coming in late because of different reasons, because they were playing, with their national teams for a longer period and all. And Steve McLaren was chosen to stay behind to come and keep them fit instead of flying with the team to the US in the preseason tour. Now that's a big statement, because with two new guys coming in Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Hake, clearly his role was always going to be subject to scrutiny. Now, remember, Benny McCarthy left. Now, McLaren, who was at Man United during the treble-winning season as an assistant, feels he's an important player, because he was the first assistant of Eric Ten Hag in the last, when he joined in the last two seasons he's been there. So the thing is, he seems to be increasingly frustrated. It is said that he has a foot injury. That is why he stayed behind, but that seems a bit weak. So, according to the reports that are coming, he's growing increasingly frustrated and he could quit. He feels probably Ineos are trying to frustrate him and they're succeeding, so that he can quit. And it seems like he's going to give them what they want, because this is, a sort of disrespect, if you would say. So that's a report coming in. But when we talk about the players, now we knew that I think at some point it was almost clear that Casemiro was bound to leave. But from what we are seeing now, it looks likely that Scott McTominay could leave before Casemiro does, and the priorities might have shifted. That, remember, Casemiro has got 2 years left on his contract. His contract currently, he's on £300,000 per week, big top salary earner. His contract runs out in June 30th, 2026. And he seems to be among those players who are not in a rush to leave. And why would you be in a rush to leave if you have 2 years left on your contract? You're earning big amounts of money. You're Casemiro. He felt disrespected by the fans, by many people. Even the manager, Eric Ten Hag, if you do recall, when he was left out of the starting 11, pulled out of the starting 11 of the FA Cup final, and Amrabat chosen over him, and he pretended to be sick and he opted out of the match because he wasn't starting. United eventually beats Man City and wins it. Now, Casemiro seemed to have been frustrated and unhappy with how he was treated, both by the team, by the club, and by the fans. And we thought maybe it's done. It's all done now. He's leaving. But from what we get, he might stay a little bit longer now. Whether it's out of his frustration, out of wanting to, prove a point that, what, you won't just use me, praise me as the most important signing we had when I joined, and you just then later on, just because I had a bad season, you let go of me, because really Casemiro, besides the injuries, forget about the injuries, he really had a bad season in the last. But it is said that and now he might be staying put. He's one of those players who are slowing down the process. The offers that are coming in from Saudi and all don't seem to excite him. So we might be stuck with Casemiro at least for one more season. And maybe a decision could be made, or maybe they'll find a way of forcing him out in the final year of his contract. These, again, are emerging reports from Man United. For Scott McTominay, who before was considered as a top player for Eric Ten Hag, wanted by Eric Ten Hag, I've seen fans, claiming it's a mistake for us to let go of Scott McTominay. It's becoming increasingly likely that he might actually leave before Casemiro, because of course United had got a bid for him from Fulham, which they turned down. Now it seems that Fulham are seriously considering coming back with bid number 2 for Scott. But even Scott seems to be at a point in his career where he wants to play more, where he wants to feel more important as a player, because his role has been under a lot of scrutiny, even when he was scoring, banging in 10 goals and critical goals off the bench, winning, United several good points, important points in what was a forgettable season. Fans were not really excited by Scott and what he can do. In fact, many people feel he's not at the level of the Manchester United footballer. So that's where we are. That's a bit of a twist in the situation when it comes to going zone at Manchester United. Or you can drop down a comment and give me your opinion about Casemiro and Scott. Who of the two do you think should leave first? Who of the two do you think should leave first? Or can we keep both of them? Or should they both leave? What, in your view, should work? Because the reality is, with both Casemiro and Christian, and rather, with both, because we know Christian Eriksen is leaving. That is without a doubt. I won't include him in my conversation. But with both Casemiro and Scott McTominay still there at Manchester United, even if we brought in Manuel Ugarte, we are still having problems, but also we are still having problems with the wage bill because Casemiro is a top earner. Maybe Scott not, because he's earning about £60,000 per week. I don't expect him to expect more. Maybe if he goes to Fulham, they can pay him 80,000, maybe. But at Man United, he doesn't seem to be that very important a player that United would be rushing to give him a new bigger contract or increase terms. But for as long as we still have Casemiro and Scott, we are going to block kids like Toby Collier, who are emerging, who have got potential. We are going to block possibilities of signing players like Richard Rios, because the money won't be there. And Ineos now is in a proper clear sell to buy situation. That is why we cannot buy right now we cannot buy Nusayo Mazraoui before we finalize the deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to leave. It's clear now we are in a sell to buy situation. So it's becoming increasingly difficult for deals to be done. So give me your 2 cents. What you think? Should Ineos find ways of keeping both of them? Should they let go of both of them? Should they keep Casemiro and let go of Scott? Should Scott stay and Casemiro leaves? What is your opinion about this situation? Tricky one, isn't it? But also on the assistant, Steve McLaren, do you think he's important? Honestly, at some point in the season, I felt like Steve McLaren's role was invisible. I felt like Eric Ten Hag didn't even consult him. I felt like he did not really, you didn't see the impact of his being there on the bench, his experience and stuff. At times, I didn't feel it. There are decisions I saw, and I'm thinking, I don't think Eric Ten Hag listens to Steve McLaren. Probably, I don't think he trusts him that much in terms of giving him experienced opinions and all. I felt they were not really a team. I don't know, for some unsound reason, it didn't look like they were. Otherwise, there are certain decisions we saw during matches that there is no justification to think that you can have Eric Ten Hag and McLaren as assistant, and some decisions would pass. So it's probable, like we saw in some reports, that his opinions were always ignored by Eric Ten Hag. So perhaps Eric Ten Hag, being now a guy who has been given a new contract and trusted, he prefers his fellow Dutchmen to come in and be his backup. So that's what's happening. This is, of course, the new update. Now there is something I'm just seeing, and I'm wrapping up with this. Chido Obi has liked a comment on Instagram. I want to see what the comment is. Chido Obi, you are a star. I'm looking forward to seeing you bomb goals for United. All the best, champ. This is a comment on Instagram by someone called Christian Lang, and Chido Obi has liked it. Is it a sign that Chido Obi Martin has chosen Man United after leaving Arsenal? Could it be a sign? That's a developing story. I told you the presence of Ruud van Nistelrooy could have a huge impact in terms of United attracting exciting youngsters. This is the United Sport. My name is Webb. Peace, love, and harmony. Let me catch you later, fam.